Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Starladder America Qualifier. I'm Zyori, joined today by the real Merlini police.
You will henceforth refer to me as Officer Merlini.
Officer Merlini,
Yes.
You got it, sir. Yes, sir. Oh,
Or I will
my.
beat you into shape.
Oh, no, he's got a
Okay.
billy club. And
I'll
he's got
handcuff you.
handcuffs, too.
I know.
All right, I'll have to stay in line today. No shots fired at Officer Merlini here. We've got round 2 losers bracket, the last of the best of ones coming up today. Only 2 BO1s. First one, WWD versus Union Gaming. Eliminations on the line today, Merlini.
Yep, Team Wild Witch Doctors, they were against Team Dog the first day, and they had it rough, and they are going to be eliminated. But I don't know, they seem to be one of the top 3 teams, but if they get too wild, I will
Take him to court. Write him a ticket.
jail them up.
Jail him up. There you go. Throw him in county. Let him think about what they've done. So our lobby is up, and I think we can go ahead and hop right into it. Okie dokie. So like I said, 2 best of ones today. After this will be Dignotas versus PSST right after this as our second BO1.
Dire team pick.
And everything looks fairly standard so
team
far.
ban.
WWD first pick.
They love their Potom.
Marana,
I
yeah.
think Ush has played Potom
Radiant
every
team
single game.
ban.
You know, I think you might be right.
Dire team ban.
Oh no, actually he played Storm. They picked Potom every single
Radiant
game,
Yeah.
but he
team
played
ban.
the Storm
Yeah.
Spirit. But I think they first picked Marana every single game, and it's not like they're like amazing with it. They're
Yeah,
decent.
it's okay.
With it.
They
It's
like
okay.
it. They like
it's,
the play
it's a
style.
flex. It's a flex pick.
Yeah, I mean, I like Marana. I like that she,
10
now that her
seconds
ultimate is like
remaining.
pretty powerful, worth leveling at level 6, that it forces the other team to
5
think more
seconds
about
remaining.
using items to deal with that, forcing out early dust, early
Reserve
sentries, that kind
time.
of stuff. So she does have some utility, and she's flexible, like you said. Hard carry,
It's a
soft
100
carry.
cooldown smoke, man.
100 cooldown smoke. There you go. That's a good way to look at it. Ember Spirit banned out once again. I'm still like, this is I think I might be talking about Ember Spirit too much, but I want to see him in a game. I want to see his success before I get behind these Ember Spirit bans.
Eh.
I know. We talked
He's not
about it
that
yesterday.
exciting of a hero. He's
Yeah.
alright, I suppose.
He's all right. Yeah.
The double battle fury. I mean, he's kind of cool because
Double
he's a
battle
glass cannon. He's
Radiant
not like super
team
boring,
pick.
but I don't think he's as powerful to warrant a first ban. Maybe in like 2 weeks or so,
Yeah.
we probably won't see him picked or
I
banned.
think you made a good point yesterday, though, about it's just not worth the risk. Why play against something you don't know when you can play against something you do know?
I don't
So-
actually know the odds for this. Let's check it out.
Oh, yeah.
I would expect Wild Witch Doctors to be slightly favored. So it looks like 67-33 in favor of Wild Witch Doctors.
That sounds on the high end of good.
10
That sounds,
seconds
I would say it's a
remaining.
little bit closer. Maybe
Yeah.
like 60-40-ish.
60, yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, but like you said, Wild Witch Doctors, they've had a rough road. They were up against Team Dog round 1 in the winners bracket,
Reserve
which is, I think they're the obvious favorites here.
Mhm.
And it wasn't a bad game, but still a little bit outclassed. And then we saw them beat Isurus Gaming in the first round of the losers bracket. And
Dire
Isurus,
team pick.
they were the team that was defeated by Dignotas very handily. So again, not another great
Yeah,
display.
so they played
of-
the best team and then the worst team.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this one is more evenly matched.
Yeah.
And I guess no one likes betting on the Peruvians, though. They aren't bad. Who did they manage to sneak by through the
Radiant
losers
team
bracket?
pick.
To
Let's see. Union was knocked down by Osiris, as we saw yesterday in the winners bracket round 2.
Mhm.
So this is their first entry into the
Was-
losers bracket. They beat Houses Down in winners bracket round 1.
Was that the Draw Ranger game, or was that first game of Dignitas? Or I think they picked Morphling. I think 2 teams picked Morphling yesterday.
Was it? No, we only saw one
We only
Morphling
saw one
yesterday, but
Morphling
we've
game?
seen 2
We've
We've
Morphling
seen 2
picks
Morphlings
total.
overall. Okay.
I don't recall which team picked the first
5
Morphling, though,
seconds
off the top of my
remaining.
Well,
head.
this draft looks very standard. I'd say the only thing that's a little bit unusual is
Reserve
there's no
time.
OD picked or banned. Union Gaming isn't going to take it because there's a Nyx, but at the same time, neither team has a solo mid, so I think either team could run that. We have seen
10
Snob play the
seconds
Nyx assassin. He tends to play those heavy gankers in the mid lane. He played a Night
5
Stalker the other day
seconds
too.
remaining.
Mhm.
Looks like they're going for a more aggressive strategy. SD Potom could potentially roam, or it could just be SD plus like a
Dire
Lina and
team
then a
Yeah.
Potom carry.
Both
And-
teams with pretty well-rounded drafts, though, with that Sand King 4th pick for Union.
I like Sand King. He's a good hero.
I have
Radiant
mixed
team
feelings.
ban.
He's okay. I worry that they're just a really melee-heavy lineup here. They've got 3 melee already, and they're going to need a mid hero next. Just curious how they're going to lane this. Is this going to be a tri-lane? And that's where I don't like Sand King that much. He's okay in tri-lanes if you have the setup, but
He needs
10
levels.
yeah, he
seconds
needs
remaining.
levels, and Burrow Strike is just it's so weak at the early levels.
It really
it's
is.
a shadow of
5
its former
seconds
self.
remaining.
And if a Rubik steals it, he's like 10 times better than he is. But he works really well in dual
Dire
lanes, I think,
team
especially if it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, SK pot him or something, and then pot him just farm, Sand King can just kind of do the invisible zoning out.
That's true. So Wild Witch Doctors grab Veno for their second support after the Shadow Demon. Looks like it will probably be an
10
off-lane Nyx,
seconds
but
remaining.
one thing I like about the way Wild Witch Doctors draft is they always leave it
5
open-ended. Nyx
seconds
and Mirana are
remaining.
two flex picks, as you like to say, and it's hard to say exactly how they want to lane this.
Do you
Nyx
ever,
could
do you
be
ever play
their mid.
fantasy football? Do fantasy football?
No, I don't. I'm
You
not a-
you know the concept of fantasy though, right?
Yeah, well, you like draft your own
Radiant
team, and then
team
the
pick.
players like get points. Like if your quarterback throws touchdowns, you
Mhm.
get points.
But you also have to put in people for specific roles. You need like 2 wide receivers, 2
right.
2 running backs, 1 quarterback, and then they also have a flex. So
Oh,
they have a
really?
flex. It's like a tight end, or I mean,
Like
it's
your wild card.
is it a wild
Your
card?
guy
Yeah.
that's gonna catch some interceptions or something.
They just like score them differently for each of the
Dire
positions.
team pick.
Like quarterbacks get X amount per yard, so it's just like you're kind of like your wild card, I suppose. But I don't know.
Okay.
I like to extend it to this because Visage almost always support, Clockwork almost always off lane, sometimes solo mid, Lifestealer almost always carry. So when you pick those early, you pigeonhole yourself into a specific thing. Like Lifestealer,
Right.
you don't want to pick that many other farm dependent heroes. But like Mirana can do well without farm. She can go off lane, she can go
10
solo mid, she
seconds
can go
remaining.
carry, she can go support. Same with
Yeah.
Nyx Assassin, or except carry. But
5
these are the
seconds
open-ended
remaining.
picks that I like to see from teams, so they can vary their strategy according to the opponent. And Union Gaming, if they wanted like a
Reserve
support
time.
with more disables, like a Lion to counter a Storm pick, they can't do that. And et cetera, et cetera.
Yep. Puck will be the final pick for Union Gaming. So even though, as you mentioned, their strat may be a little bit pigeonholed in terms of draft, I still like the roster they've been able to squeeze out. They've got Clockwork and Puck for a delivery vehicle with that Life Stealer. They've got a lot of team fight between the Sand King and Puck. A nice carry with the Life Stealer. Good initiation. This is a pretty well-rounded draft on the side of the premiums.
I agree. I would not have banned out on Death Prophet if I were WWD, because they're not really scared of a push. None of these heroes are exceptionally strong at pushing, and I think their weakness is just being able to gank, and they don't really have that many great disables. Like Sand King's like okay, Clockwork's like okay, but Puck lends a lot of control to the fight. I would also be scared of a Storm Spirit, because I guess Nyx Assassin is like decent for it, but they don't have that many solutions to lock down a Storm. So I would be scared of either Puck or Storm Spirit if I were WWD.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Now we'll see how the Witch Doctors, or the Wild Witch Doctors, want to round off this draft. They presumably will need a mid-hero, but like we talked about, still some flexibility.
Or carry. I think
Or-
they need someone that can
Or
somewhat
how
handle
did they
life
usually
steal.
run their Mirana? Is she usually position
They
1?
ran her in a tri-lane. They like to run her in tri-lanes,
Yeah.
typically.
Yeah, kind of more of the farming Mirana role, but she does work well in those.
So it
aggressive
could be
tries.
like a solo safe lane farmer versus a clock, like a lone druid, or it might be
Ooh,
the
alright.
Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend's
Shadow Fiend.
good. So we'll probably see Nyx Assassin off lane, Mirana, Shadow Demon, Veno, Tri.
Yep.
They need to put a pressure on the Union lineup though, or else Shadow Fiend will get roamed on.
You know, at first glance, I saw this Witch Doctors lineup and thought they've got a good amount of control coming out, but their last 2 picks are, I don't know, I worry this Shadow Fiend may be a little bit susceptible to early ganks, early roams. With the Sand King, Puck, and Visage, he might have a little bit of a rough time if they opt to pick on him early on.
SD and Veno are very good at the early game counter room though, so
Yeah, that's
Prepare
true.
it's really on the supports for the first like 6 or 7 minutes of the game. Can they keep down the Shadow Fiend, or are they just gonna let him farm first the Puck? Puck is not that bad of a matchup for Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend's gonna get ahead past 5, but 1 through 4, Puck can still put out a lot of pressure.
And they also have the Shadow Fiend Venomancer combination. They could do that crafty ward deny in the pit to start him with some souls, though. Doesn't look like the Witch Doctors are interested in employing such a strategy.
Yeah, the problem with that is it cripples you so hard at level 1 with Venomancer.
Yeah,
But,
that's true.
I mean, it does make your Shadow Fiend Superman though.
I feel like it's almost worth it, though, to get Shadow Fiend some extra souls to start with at the early
Those plague
levels.
orders are so useless though without Poison Sting.
Yeah,
It
that's,
is. Ugh.
that's true. That's true. And Venomancer is one. He is usually a little slow getting that early experience rolling. Well,
he can
30
neutral, I suppose,
seconds
with
to
it.
battle.
I guess it's better. It's probably better if you're
Yeah.
safe laning. If you're offensive tri laning, and you have awards that could just lead you to a terrible, terrible situation.
Well, he does go ahead and skill Gale level 1, so it seems you were right about that, my friend. Some wards come down from our Dire tri-lane. They put an Observer into the lane and then a Sentry down to block the pole camp. They will station about the high ground, looking for a potential First Blood. They've got a great First Blood lineup with Mirana and Venomancer, but they won't be quite
The
so
battle
lucky here,
begins.
and they will just head to lane.
Looks like they already warded up mid, but Sand King was spotted out by this tower, so that will be dewarded very, very shortly. I saw a lot of pings out, so
Yep,
that's-
Veno's squiggling his way over there.
Oh, maybe he wants to give it to wants to give the money to Shadow Fiend.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy
Maybe.
right here. The pings. Uh-oh, the creep.
Oh, and that one soul.
Oh, wow, you're right,
And
actually.
50 gold and a soul. Hey, that's
Not a bad start for a Shadow Fiend.
that's kind of cool.
I'll take it.
At the same time, Veno's going to be a little bit late to bottom, and Shadow Fiend already had gotten denied against twice.
Yeah. Puck off to the races here. So,
One soul does not mean GG. Oh, anyways, Sand King gets arrowed out. Oh, Shadow Demon.
Shadow Demon's in big trouble here, and he may still be able to survive. The Gale comes out, but there will be some path blocking. The range heroes don't get there in time.
There's
Now,
a DD on Ush.
They will
I think
turn
this life's
this
still
around.
overextended.
Yeah, he's got no rage up for another 5 seconds.
They have disrupt up in 3 though.
Oh, that arrow so bittersweet, just barely misses Richie.
If he disrupts him, he is dead.
And
Oh,
they'll
they
about
don't go.
face.
Wow. I thought they were going to commit.
Stroke of luck right there. That was a really close arrow from Ush, but unfortunately just a bit off the mark. The good news, though, they did burn the salve that he turned on, so Lifestealer will have
it's
to
not
walk
almost
back.
dies in mid too. Oh my goodness, he was flirting with death. He was at like 20 HP.
Yeah, Puck has actually a set of tangos and 2 pooled tangos as well, so a lot of regen on that Fairy Dragon. Sort of an odd opening build here. Interesting. So, anyhow, this tri-lane already some action heating up. We see a Sentry coming down from the Visage. It will catch this Observer ward. They may throw a Sentry of their own. Actually, do they have any left? No, they don't. So that Observer will be short-lived. once they
Still
move
watching
over.
mid stock could die at
Get off.
any time. He has 40 HP. He has 1 tango left, but it is shared tango. Does not have the regen up for another 10 seconds, and his bottle is really slow because it's a bottle chicken, not a bottle crow.
Yep. And I'll actually have to walk back to make sure it gets filled up. Oh, boy.
Initiate.
And down bottom. So now I'm looking at mid, and okay. Rage comes out, but Lifestealer does survive. Still preoccupied with this mid lane. I'm a little bit nervous for Sna.
I'm slightly nervous for him too. He
Radiant's
gets hit
top
by an orb,
tower
he's dead,
is
but
under
he won't
attack.
have mana for a good 25 seconds.
Arrow connects with Visage down bottom, but the follow-up won't be there. So
That
a lot
is
of back and
ours.
forth down here in the bottom. A little surprised that no First Blood has come out onto the field quite yet. How's the farm looking? We're on a 10-2 versus the 2-0 Lifestealer. So even though they didn't secure that kill, forcing Richie to walk back to the well already, really slowing down that farm, and only 2-0 here at 2.5 minutes on Lifestealer. That's never good when you're averaging about a creep kill a minute.
Yeah, he does have the 3 600 range hero pressure though. Actually, I don't know if Veno is 6. He's 450, but 3 large range heroes.
Yeah.
Pounding him.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like I said, when you have a more melee-intensive tri-lane, it just gets a little bit difficult.
Yeah,
Because
Sand King is just he is not that good at babysitting.
yeah. Where does Sand King shine? What is his like golden?
I actually don't think he does that bad in the off lane. He also does well versus some melee solo mids, like Magnus. I think he does really well against. He does well
caustic
against.
finale?
Yeah, if anyone ever picked Brood, he'd be good versus her.
Don't make me laugh, Merlin.
She is good versus dual lanes though.
Okay.
As a dual lane, like I think if you have like an Invoker plus Sand King or Sand King plus Potom, they have very high kill potential in a lane, and then you can just play greedy and farm. But he needs levels though. He like level 1s and 2, he's like very useless. 3 and 4, he's still pretty useless. Level 5 is when you start seeing his real potential.
Yeah, I've noticed that you like to just assign arbitrary genders to heroes. You just called Sand King a she, and I mean,
he?
I haven't
Sand
seen
Queen?
too many features about the Sand King that would imply that he's a.
Well,
female.
it's a king.
It is
so
a king,
I guess
yeah.
it could be Sand Queen.
It's just interesting.
I can call it Sand Queen.
I mean, you can call him whatever you want. I just
The one I'm not really sure about is Puck.
Puck. Now Puck is an enigma. That one I don't know.
I think it's androgynous.
Is the voice actor male or female?
I have no idea.
That could be telling, though. Perhaps not. Yeah, but Puck is interesting. And she has a very
Is
high pitched
Nick's a
voice.
guy?
I think Nyx is a guy. Yeah, a Nubricon. He's like the model he's based on. He's like the big scarab in charge of what do they live under the frozen wastes of Northrend?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess is a guy.
I think I'm not sure how beetles go about procreation, but I guess they still have genders. All right, so we're back in it. The close up on the Nyx assassin here. We will resume after that pause. Whoa, sorry about that. Camera went a little crazy there. And we're back to about 3 minutes in, and still no first blood on the field.
On bottom.
Yeah, disruption comes out onto Richie, and nothing.
I guess they're trying to bait out rages, but he has enough mana for plenty of rages. The only problem is he's level 1 right now, so they don't even have open wounds online.
Yeah, he's really getting shut down and still sitting only 2-0 while
they're almost out of regen too. Visage is out of regen, Sand King's out of regen, or health regen that is. Lifesteal only has 2 tangos left. Oh,
and
here they go.
King, he charges forward. Burrow Strike connects with the Shadow Demon. Rage used from Richie. He did skill open wounds. The defensive disruption comes out after the Visage nukes. There's the Venomous Gale. They want this Shadow Demon, and they'll find it. Visage gets the bonus gold for the first blood, but it will cost him a life stealer. Not done quite yet as Ush moves into the trees. XCOM still just racking up those last hits, abusing that poison sting. Now Ush ready to rejoin the battle. Does have a healing salve on.
I don't think that's worth it for them.
That's where it will stop.
It's a 1-for-1, but their lifesteal is already under farm as is, and then he died again. So he's not even gonna have boots for a while. Yeah, he might. They might have gotten a kill, and it's on the Visage, who is definitely good with gold. But I mean, that is the majority of their physical damage coming into the game. Anyways, we have not really concentrated too much on top lane as of yet. I don't know if he's been bottle crowing. Looks like he has been bottle crowing. The Clockwork that is, and IX Mike. I'm not sure if he's bottle crowing. Nope, doesn't look like it. He needs some sort of mana regen though. The problem with Nyx Assassin is like once you get level 6, if you use your lane to harass, you have to like go all the way back to base, heal up your mana, and then you have to gank, and it just gives a lot of time to teams a lot of time to prepare for his level 6 gank. So you really want like some sustain in the lane so that you can just TP Vendetta and kill in like 10 seconds instead of waiting like 40.
And a pretty large disparity between their farms as well. Nyx only 9-2 versus the 19-3 Clockwork being played by Angel. So that seems like
that's pretty significant.
A larger
IX Mike
dichotomy
might die
than
here.
usual. Yeah, now Battery Assault is on. IX Mike with no mana. There's nowhere for him to go. Spike Carapace will buy him some time, maybe using that rocket a little too early.
He went a 2-2-1 build too for some reason. You generally go 3-1-1 on him because his stun scales really well, and you really need max stun ASAP. In some specific scenarios, I guess you max mana burn, maybe versus like a OD, but most of the time your standard skill build is 4-1-1-1 at level 7. So he's not going to have that max impale burst soon. So I expect him to keep farming. He also needs arcanes if he wants to be able to use his combo.
Yeah. Absolutely, no doubt about that. Let's check up on the mid lane here. Shadow Fiend starting to grab some momentum. 22-10 versus the 19-4 Fairy Dragon. And I think that's pretty standard. Shadow Fiend struggles early on. Once he racks up some souls, he now has a pretty solid last hit advantage over Puck. Well, of course, when Puck doesn't have a double damage rune on. So things relatively even there. Shadow Fiend has avoided death, even though he's been teetering on the edge a couple of times, and that is a victory from his perspective. Richie down bottom, he's grabbed a few more last hits, but he's actually still on point with that one last hit per minute. We're about to approach the 6-minute mark, and he is currently 6-0 in last hits and denies. Meanwhile, in the mid, though, Shadow Fiend in some trouble as Angel rotates down, and they secure a kill onto the Shadow Fiend. Clockwork level 6, easy hook shots. Meanwhile, down bottom, see more initiation, and Marana will get caught, will fall to the wrath of Visage. And Venomancer not out of the clear quite yet. It's a 3v1 down here as Shadow Demon isn't with him. Long-range Burrow Strike connects with the Veno. They'll dive the tower, and they'll grab themselves a kill. That will now make it 4-1.
Wow, this is a disaster. The main reason all of this happened is because IX Mike lost his lane on top. Because of that, Shadow Demon was forced to rotate top, and then they were stranded as 2 in their offensive tri-lane, and Clockwork's free to rotate too. So all of this happened because IX Mike just almost died in a one-on-one situation.
And Sna in trouble in the mid lane. Dream Coil comes out. Angel rotates in. Nothing a Shadow Fiend can do. He'll take back-to-back spills. Say goodbye to your souls, my friend. He's down to 6, and that will harbor his farm for the upcoming moments.
This is getting to be very disastrous for Wild Witch Doctors. They haven't protected their Potom. They haven't protected their Shadow Fiend, and no one is really that farm for their team. I guess Potom has very high CS at 37, but at the same time, that kill alone puts Lifestealer on par with levels on Ush and probably close to on par with Farm.
Still not so quite on net worth. We see Marana around 2.6k and the Lifestealer only at 1.1. So
what happened? He hasn't gotten anything.
Yeah, he's 0-1-3. He hasn't gotten any of these kills himself. He's died. At least that first one I think he got an assist for, but he died right after. So yeah, he just hasn't gotten much. I mean, his CS score is abysmal. He's 6-0 still at the 7.5 minute mark. Like, he has virtually no CS at the moment. And Shadow
That's
Demon
scary.
is even 6-8.
There is smoke gank. Oh no, I thought they have a smoke on them. Oh, there it goes.
There we go.
Poor Shadow Fiend. He does have an observer ward after that clockwork rotation. It looks like IX Mike is sitting there waiting for them to go on him. But I don't know if they can actually save him from death, though. Puck has Dream Coil up in 9 seconds. If he has Dream Coil, I'm pretty sure Sna is dead.
They will rotate forward. Smoke gets revealed. They know there's somebody on the high
that
ground.
is smart by IX Mike. Good positioning there. Very good.
Nice heads-up play. Meanwhile, down bottom, though, Richie getting dove into the Tier 1 tower. And Richie will fall. He takes an arrow to the face. Starstorm as well. Angel did get put inside of a disruption, but puck ports down. They will pay for this overcommit. Shadow Demon falls. Ush now stuck in the trees. He is completely boxed in. Will have a leap. Hops over the tree line. And what an escape. Oh, not quite. Angel a step ahead with the hook shot. Unfortunately, not enough mana for Cogs. Empty bottle. No charges on the wand. Marana should be able to walk away in the mid. Looks like they were
They have a
gonna
coil.
dive. No, there it is. They've got a Dream Coil. Ush trying to port out. He'll make it.
Radiant's middle tower
wow, the great
is
escape.
under attack.
Yeah, that was... I thought he was dead for sure. They boxed him in there. They knew he was there.
Yep, they sure did. But he did save the leap for an appropriate time. And WWD still, I mean, yeah, they got a kill on the Lifestealer. They're continuing to keep him down.
There's
but-
like no stacks for the Shadow Fiend either.
Yeah.
He's not gonna have an easy time catching him. He does have treads though, so he's not sitting that poor, and he is still at least ahead of the Lifestealer.
By a big margin,
Did you
too.
see that? Did you see that tricky double spawn? Actually, he missed this one, but he like went over here and then he turned up and raised and then kept running back. So that was pretty smart.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that done before.
Yeah, Lifestealer just needs to find somewhere to rack up some CS at this point. They're doing a good job keeping the opponents down on the side of Wild Witch Doctors, but they need some farm on the Lifestealer. I mean, even Nyx Assassin, who is struggling so much in lane, is above him by a pretty large margin here at about 2.1 on the net worth chart.
IX Mike in mid leads off with a stunts. He doesn't even hit the Vendetta.
And hook shot in, does connect with Snot. IX Mike will try to pursue the puck. He's forced to about face, and now Angel maybe biting off more than he can chew. Illusion Orb comes in from puck. He won't hop to it. And Angel, he is going to move back to the high ground.
IX Mike, if he Vendetta, Puck would have been dead, or if he hit that stun, Clockwork might have been dead, but he... I guess he thought they had enough burst, but Shadow Fiend being a little bit underleveled still doesn't have as many souls as he needs to kill him.
Dream Coil used on the Wild Witch Doctor himself, Shadow Demon. They'll converge an easy 3-on-1 as they add another one to the board. 7-2 here at the 10-minute mark. And this gold graph isn't looking too bad. Only a few hundred in their favor, but a
Radiant's
2,000
top tower.
experience
Oh, Ush
lead.
might die. He got cogged inside.
Oh,
He has a dodge. Oh wait, there's no hook shot. But he's still super fast. How is he
he's
so
still
fast?
maybe in some trouble, actually. He will fall. Angel secures that kill.
He just walked up and got cogged by Angel.
Wow. Meanwhile, down bottom, wow, this is just a bloodbath action happening across the lanes. XCOM will get open wounded, but he walks back to the tower, and they don't dive it. Wow.
The 2-1-2 build. I don't know. Some people like getting 1 in Gale, some people like getting 2 in Gale, but most people max Plague Wards now. That spell is so good. And
Yeah.
now, while Witch Doctor is resorting to stacking, we see Shadow Fiend stacking this camp, Shadow Demon stacking this camp, and this is what they need to do when they're in recovery mode.
Yeah, and luckily their gold farm isn't too bad. It's just a matter of experience right now. They're still in okay shape. The lead isn't, I think, as bad as the 8-2 might have you believe. They've done a good job keeping the Shadow Fiend down, but he's also recovered reasonably well. He's only trailing by about 400 gold on this puck, and giving the KDA, that's quite the achievement. Puck is 2-0-2, and Shadow Fiend is 0-2-0.
They have a Sentry Ward. I think they know.
Big difference here.
There's the gank, though. Angel smoked around. His smoke is right about to pop in about 3 seconds. We have Ush and WWD right there. He might get hookshot from the high ground.
Oh, wow.
He missed the silence.
Yeah, Dream Coil burned. Ush will leap. He will still get stuck into the creeps here. The Cogs actually push him to the high ground, and he'll survive for now, but he will eventually fall to the wrath of Visage. And Puck comes in. IX Mike tries to pursue, but unable to secure it. Does proc a stun with that Spike
Radiant's
Carapace
top
as the Moonlight
tower
Shadow
is
has come
under
out.
attack.
They want this Clockwork, but they won't find him. Meanwhile, Visage comes up to the high ground, nukes IX Mike, he's in trouble. He'll take a spill. Now Sna, he's in big trouble as well. He gets trapped inside the Cogs. And that will be a 2-0 inside
this
the Dire
Clockwork
jungle.
is just playing incredibly well from Union. Like, he is just demolishing. First he demolishes Nyx, and then he demolished Snot in mid a couple of times, and he is just killing everybody. He killed Potom, solo kill too. He is definitely the MVP as it stands. And he has a haste rune.
He's got a haste rune, dives the tower, secures the kill on Veno. Clockwork's hook shot up in about 15 seconds. He won't find it. Nice attempt on the arrow, but Angel jukes it just in time. WWD himself, he's in trouble. Angel will dive the tower, and he's now going to scoot out with that haste rune before he bites off more than he can chew. Meanwhile, outside the Roche pit, Puck will get converged on, and Nyx Assassin secures that kill. And that, before this engage started, in the area right here, did he miss that hook shot and hit his buddy Puck?
I'm not sure.
think he
I'm not
did.
even sure if he cast it.
Oh, he did. It was
Oh,
on
he did?
cooldown.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw the coil come out, and then I saw the silence miss.
That
but
was
I
what
didn't
threw
see
me off at the
hook
beginning
shot.
of the engage. I was quiet. I was like, wait a second. Did he just hook shot the guy right next to him instead of the opponent? So he did whiff that hook shot, but still set up for a very successful engage. Now 12-3 at the 13-minute mark. The gold graph now 3,000 in their favor, about 6,000 experience going the way of Union. And they're very quickly pulling ahead here. Lifestealer is on the rise, still not where he needs to be, but at least kind of par for the course, around 2.7K on the net worth chart with phase boots up.
They need to translate these into tower kills, though. This tower not down on top lane means that Shadow Fiend can just farm the jungle at his pleasure, and they can gank maybe if like Clockwork had a smoke or something like that, or if they had wards up in the opponent's jungle, or if Puck had a blink. I think any of those would be really good in controlling the opponent's jungle, but as it stands right now, they don't have any of those, and Nyx has resorted to farming bottom instead of infest ganking, so he cannot. They're trying to scout out the jungle, though. They need to limit his farm, and they've been keeping a decent grasp on. Ooh, he just random dusted.
Yeah, I guess he was hoping to catch the Nyx Assassin, but that was strange.
That would have been some
and
next level
unusual.
stuff. Nyx Assassin was close.
He wasn't nearby. He wasn't even been dead. So, a
Dire's
noble
bottom
effort.
tower
They
is
will
under
rotate up
attack.
towards the top. Rocket scouts it out. There is a hook shot available from the Clockwork, and he may find an opening. Going to cancel cast a little bit. Takes some poison to the face. Puck hops forward. Shadow Demon does get silenced. In comes the Burrow Strike. Shadow Demon falls. IX Mike now connected upon by a hook shot. Will use the Spike Carapace. Angel maybe overcommitting here. The Dream Coil has come. Snon and IX Mike do survive as support comes in. XCOM now joining the fray. They've got the Moonlight Shadow on. Sentry comes out from the Sand King. But
That
I
was
think
so
that's-
aggressive. Like, if
Dire's
they had
bottom
shot
tower is
the
under
rocket and then
attack.
immediately went, then that'd be okay. But as it stood, they had time to react, and they had time to TP in. And hey, everyone, there's like a couple people up here. Clockwork's not going to be up here solo, and they were able to counter game because of that. But looks like Venomancer will
recovery
take a
kill on
spill too.
Veno.
Your
But
impertinence.
at least they did not lose the Shadow Fiend too. Shadow Fiend's life is very, very important, and they
Dire's
got
bottom
clock streak.
tower is under
Yep.
attack.
But meanwhile, down bottom, space has been
Radiant's
created,
middle
and the
tower is
Lifestealer
under
as well as
attack.
Visage are now pressuring this bottom tier 1 tower. And I think it will fall. Yes, it does. Visage is the
Dire's
one to pick
bottom
the last
tower
hit on
has
the first
fallen.
tower kill of the match,
Radiant's
which will, of
middle
course,
tower
further the
is
golden
under
lead
attack.
of Union Gaming here on the Radiant. Puck is now rotated back to the mid, level 11, and actually, did he not grab that second point in Dream Coil? I guess not. Interesting.
Interesting indeed. He does have his blink and 25 gold though, so now the pressure is continuously mounting for Wild Witch Doctors. Bottom was net worth leader, now he is number 3, does not even have his drums in his inventory yet. Sna's still working on his BKB on the Shadow Fiend, he still needs about 2,000 gold too, so they are quite some times away from being even in decent fighting shape.
Radiant's middle tower is
And there's
under
that Blink
attack.
Dagger you were talking about. Looks like Clockwork will be moving towards an early Blade Mail. Has the Broadsword already, but an interesting choice. We'll see. IX Mike in big trouble. He walks right on top of a Sentry Ward. Little do you know, Mr. Nyx Assassin, that you were revealed. Defensive Disruption comes out. They want to hang around to secure this kill. Sand King does take an arrow to the face, and he will very well pay with his own life. That makes it a 1-for-1. But a hook shot comes onto the Venomancer, and they make it a 1-for-2. Veno and Nyx in exchange for the support Sand King. Now Ush wants to pursue, but Puck hops in to show off that fancy new Blink Dagger, and they turn it around on Mirana. That makes it a 1-for-3. Another great fight in favor of Union Gaming.
Yeah, they've been doing a very good job of shutting down the Nyx Assassin, though. Clockwork constantly catching him inside cogs, having sentry wards in mid, as well as on top lane and in the jungle, too. They're always prepared for him, and IX Mike has not been
Dire's
able to have
top
that big of an
tower is
impact.
under
Maybe if he
attack.
had a Blink Dagger, he could, but I think he's actually going for a 4-staff, possibly a Dagon instead.
Yeah, Nyx Assassin 1, 2, and 2 right now at the 17-minute mark. That's never a good good amount of kills.
It's just compare him to the clock, right?
Yeah,
the
right.
clock has been
6,
involved in
1,
so
and
many
8.
kills.
Yeah, pretty big disparity there.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. Looks like we could see another engage break out in the top lane. We've got Nyx Assassin and Shadow Demon at the top tier 1 tower, and Visage and Puck on the other side of the tree line. Looking for an opening, perhaps. Dream Coil is available, the level 1 Dream Coil.
The dream.
The dream.
Here it goes. IX Mike huddling around Sentry Wards again.
Ooh, yep. In the middle. A missed Burrow Strike. Probably could have been a kill, but they won't make it happen. The disruption comes in. And, oh, this Puck in a little bit of trouble. Venomous Gale connects. Won't even be able to get the phase shift off. Puck goes down to start off this engage. Visage will just take that as a sign to pour it out. No, he changes his mind. Support is inbound. Clockwork looking for an opportunity. Well, they're able to pick off the Venomancer at least. Around the backside, Angel and Richie. In they come. Shadow Demon as well as IX Mike still in big trouble. The Shadow Demon will fall. Nyx Assassin on the defensive. They do manage to grab a kill on the Clockwork as now Mirana joins the fray. Richie now will retreat. Though, even more support coming in. Sand King, he's ready for more. Will miss the Burrow Strike. Actually does have phase boost. That's a speedy Scorpion.
Wow. Who goes face on Sand King?
Yeah, wouldn't have expected that. I thought Arcanes were the clear favorites on that hero.
Arcane or just Blink.
Yeah,
with,
well,
the,
just
with
Blink.
a better Blink.
Forget about upgrading those boots, man. Just
well,
get
it's hard to save up gold on him because he often dies in fights.
Yeah, that's true. Frontliner.
Moonlight
Moonlight Shadow comes out from the Wild Witch Doctors. They are ready to defend this top tier 1 tower as Union Gaming have all 5 alive and ready to push. Mirana on the opposite side, looking for a Sacred Arrow opening. See sentries down all over the place here. X Mike is vendetted. BKB is now up on the Shadow Fiend. So he may be able to join this fight and do some damage. The port coming in as Richie maybe overcommitting here. Venomous Gale flies. There's the BKB Shadow Fiend. He'll finish off the Visage. They secure the kill on the Lifestealer as well. Dream Coil comes out as Puck hops in. IX Mike taking a lot of damage, but he will be able to survive, at least for now. The Venomancer gets taken down, as does the Mirana. IX Mike trying to get away from the Familiars, and it may be a moot point here. Shadow Fiend falls to Epicenter, and IX Mike, he ports out to safety.
That was close. That was a close
man.
rocket.
So that was kind of an odd fight, but still, Union Gaming come out way ahead. It ends up being a 2 for 4. Were any buybacks used? No, just a straight up 2 for 4.
Yeah, if Shadow Fiend were there just a tiny bit earlier, I think he would have made a pretty big impact. I think he was picking up his BKB, though. I'm actually surprised that he had it, considering how underfarmed he was earlier. And finally, they break this T1.
Yeah, that will be their second tower kill of the game. They did lose their bottom tier 1 tower, so total tower count is 2 to 1 in favor of our Radiant side. Union Gaming, the gold graph up and down, but still 3,000 in their favor and about 7,500 experience lead going their way as well. Lifestealer did not go for a Midas build. Phase boots into drum and now just working towards that armlet.
Yeah, he is. He is now more farmed than a Mirana. Or, yeah, he is more farmed than a Mirana. He has just 100 more net worth. And now Puck, infested inside, is in Aches. Ush may die. They do have WWD to save him, but he has to be really quick with the disrupt.
There's the Burrow Strike. In comes the silence. The disruption comes off, but it will only buy Ush a couple of seconds, and he will fall anyhow. 1 for 0 as they jump the Mirana in the mid lane. And Union Gaming may opt to press forward here. Team WWD not in a great position to defend. They don't have a glyph available. I think they may be well advised just to sacrifice this tier 1 tower. Venomancer, oh, that hook shot just whizzing by his head. I could feel the breeze from here. Fortunately, not on the mark. I think that would have been an easy kill on the Venomancer.
These supports on the side of UG are really rich, too. Visage has a mech and a medallion and 1,000 gold to boot. And Sand King, yeah, he doesn't have his blink, but he has phase, he has urn, he has cloak, too. They are just much richer than this Shadow Demon and Venomancer. Venomancer not even a bracer to his name. Shadow Demon going with a double bracer.
Yeah, even just looking at net worth, there's a huge disparity there. Shadow Demon and Venomancer at the bottom of the pack around 2K apiece, and Visage actually upwards of about 5,000 on net worth, and Sand King somewhere in the middle, sitting around 4K. IX Mike, yeah, does secure the tower kill up in the top lane, so they at least make it a 1 for 1 tower exchange. So Nyx Assassin could be in some trouble. He is vendetted for now, but they've been spot on with these sentries. Also, IX Mike going for a Force Staff after Arcane Boots, not opting for the fast blink, as we commonly see with Nyx Assassins.
Yeah, I think they needed a blink. Oh, it looks like... Oh, they may get caught out.
Sentry! Hook shot again off the mark! Oh, no. Maybe a little bit of a panic hook shot there. But does miss the Nyx Assassin.
Wow, they will sentry both of the wards. So they have one ward right here, just got taken down. This one's about to get taken down too, if anyone
Full
actually.
duration one also.
Yeah. So
Effort.
that's really bad for while Witchtalker's leading up to the next like 6 or 7 minutes, and they need map control right now. They need to be able to safely farm, and without the observer wards, it's going to be very difficult. Maybe they can like take this ancient stack. Maybe they can Moonlight Shadow into Roshan or smoke into it. But as right now, all of them are feeling very, very scared. Venomancer actually picks up a gem with this
And
goal.
they'll actually save this ward right here. Shadow Demon comes in with a sentry of his own.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Having wards up, and they have one right here too, but this one's right about to expire, so they have a limited amount of time to safely farm the jungle.
Well, that ward that will expire soon, giving them some valuable vision as to what Union Gaming are up to. And they are moving about the dire jungle. They're looking for an engage. Nyx Assassin pokes forward, sentries down on both sides of the coin. But the Radiant will win the counter warding battle. And Union Gaming, they just want to keep the pressure on here. They will group up about the top tier 2 tower.
Radiant's
They
middle
suspect
tower
IX
is
Mike
under
is nearby,
attack.
and he reveals himself. Angel takes that opportunity to hook shot in. Puck blinks forward. A huge Dream Coil comes out. WWD as well as XCOM in big trouble. They'll both fall. That shiny new gem is sitting on the ground. Nyx Assassin also gets picked off. A quick 3 for nil, and wow, they get the gem.
That
wasn't-
impale was not worth it. Whew.
Yeah.
That was not worth
Great
it.
reaction from Angel, though. He hopped right on that Nyx.
Yeah,
as soon
and
as
he
was
uses
revealed.
Force Staff to try and dodge the
Radiant's
dodge the
middle
hook, and
tower
he got
is
hooked
under
like
attack.
right after he
Dire's
Force
top
Staff, which means
tower
he's
has fallen.
certainly dead, even after a disruption.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Richie ports into the bottom tower right into a Marana arrow. Ush just not farmed enough to finish him off in a solo environment, but will stymie some of his farm here. Marana takes an open wounds, a few right clicks to the face. Starstorm, right clicks going the other way. And both sides will just disengage. So I think needless to say, a great exchange for Union Gaming. They grab a tier 2 tower and 3 kills in exchange for just their tier 1 mid that Shadow Fiend was able to knock down all the while. So Shadow Fiend's been doing a good job finding opportunities to at least get a bit of farm despite the negatives that are coming about his team. And, well, he's number 1 on the net worth chart by a decent margin. The question is it enough? 27-9.
I think if they get the Aegis, it can be enough, but if they don't, then it's going to be a long and difficult road.
Yeah.
Puck has Necrobook instead of Sheep. I think he needs Sheep, but Necrobook is pretty useful if they want to end the game early, I suppose, but the utility from Sheep is just far more useful. Clockwork has his Force Staff now, too, so he won't have that difficult time chasing down Potom and other heroes.
Very true, and that gem now in the inventory of Visage, so a noble effort from the Venomancer, but unfortunately that utility item will go the way of Union.
This sinking is like screw Blink. I'm going to go every other item I possibly can
Yeah,
besides
what's
this Blink
a
dagger.
casual vitality boost?
I don't know, man.
That's
I am
interesting.
not sure. He
Yeah.
could have finished Hood with that.
Yeah.
Probably a pipe. He could have a pipe right now. Close to a pipe.
I'm trying to
Dire's
think, like,
middle
what is that
tower
even going to
is
turn
under
into? Is he
attack.
going to have, like, a Rod of Alley? Well, we'll hold that thought as a hook shot onto the high ground. Connects with Marana, and she'll get dropped like a sack of bricks into the river. Before she can even react, she'll be back in the well. Now, the engage not over. Shadow Demon gets caught behind the tower. Cogs separating the fight. Dream Coil comes out on XCOM. He will try and break the tether, but that will end up costing him another 3 for nil. And this will be another tower
Angels just
exchange.
finding those hook shots everywhere, man.
Yeah, this Clockwork's been a big playmaker, no doubt about it.
I think he'll be banned out next game.
Dire's
This
middle
is,
tower has
yeah,
fallen.
he really has just carried them immensely
Radiant's
through
under
mid.
attack.
And
He is 7-2 and 18.
Dire's
He's been
middle
involved in
tower is under
25
attack.
of the 30 kills they have on the board.
yeah,
That's
he's just been
insane.
ridiculous.
That's insane.
Puck's been involved in 22, but not as many. Still has the same score. Oh, and now they're doing Roshan. So now, while Witchtalker's hopes of getting the Aegis has been scattered and dashed, and it was just like the supports can't get caught out there. Both times they were
Roshan has fallen
pushing the
to
T2.
Radiant.
Union Gaming were pushing the T2, while Witchtalkers had 3 at the tower, and they still got caught out. You just drop Veno wards. If one person dies, okay, whatever. Then you just let the tower fall, let your other hero split push. But ideally, you just want to defend, not get initiated on. But the blink infest with the Puck, as well as the Clockwork hookshot, is just too much for these underfarm supports they handle.
And there's also a big disparity of mech versus no mech. Shadow Demon has been working towards his this entire game, following the Bracers. He's got the Buckler complete, but Visage has had a mech up for quite some while, and that's had a huge role in these team fights, just giving Union Gaming a lot more sustain, and ultimately the upper hand. Necrobook level 2 now up for Puck. And Lifestealer does have a Javelin sitting in the bank. There's the Blink Dagger coming from the Sand King. So that really is just a casual point booster, just hanging out there while he waits for his Blink.
Casual phase too. Like, survivability's not bad, I suppose, but
Yeah.
you need Blink.
I mean,
you have to get Blink.
Yeah, getting Blink is usually the
If
priority.
they weren't so far ahead, it might actually make a difference.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. IX Mike is Vendetta down here in the bottom. And speaking
This
of
is a
Sand
smart
King,
ward too. They use this ward to kill Potom, and then they think that it's dewarded with that sentry, but it's placed out of sentry range.
Sorry, Sand King, but he will take a spill here as IX Mike initiates, and Potom does follow up with an arrow. Meanwhile, up top, Angel and Richie find a Shadow Fiend, and they grab themselves a kill, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 across the map, and I think Union Gaming will be happy with their spoils.
Poor Shadow Fiend. He's on top of net worth chart right now, but he just can't do anything by himself.
Yeah, and IX Mike in a little bit of trouble, does take a Waning Rift to the face. Out comes the Dream Coil, Illusory Orb, does do some damage though, the Spike Carapace was on. And Visage now continuing to follow up with damage, he will secure the kill.
I think they actually could have done the lanes differently. Like maybe Nyx could have gone mid versus the puck, and then Shadow Fiend could have gone top, especially with the tri-lane from Union Gaming being defensive.
Yeah.
They could have. It would have been much more difficult to rotate on the Shadow Fiend, but and I think he would have probably been better in CS. Nyx versus Clockwork is not that great of a matchup, and I can understand that IX might have some difficulties, but it just seemed too much in Clockwork's favor, and the game just kind of snowballed out of control. It's still out of control.
And this Clockwork, he's got about 3,000 in the bank. He'll go ahead and pick up a point booster, and he's now 600 off his Ag Scepter. That's just going to add insult to injury here, and I'm not sure how the Wild Witch Doctors will be able to deal with that. You mentioned Shadow Fiend topping the net worth chart, but not for long. Puck is nipping at his heels, trailing by only about 700 gold now. That gap is very quickly closing. Sna wants to get up a Butterfly, it seems. He does have the Eagle Song already, but still doesn't really have... Well, he's still a little ways off that core item. He's the only one progressing in terms of items, though. Mirana now has a Yasha, Shadow Demon with the headdress, getting closer to the mech. But meanwhile, on the Radiant side, we've got a level 3 Necro Book up now, a Skull Basher up on the Lifestealer, Blink on Sand King, which we got to see before he took a spill. And Visage actually has his Ag Scepter complete, though it is sitting at home in the bank.
This is scary.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do either. Their defenses... I mean, they couldn't defend the T2s. They weren't even close to being able to defend the T2s. And the Aegis will expire relatively soon. I guess 2.5 minutes time. So that will buy some time for Wild Witch Doctors to get back in the game. They needed that first Roshan. And if they don't get the second Roshan too, I think they're just going to not have enough map control to repel Union Gaming from their base.
Yeah, and Shadow Fiend is making a risky play here. He does have almost enough gold to complete that Butterfly, but he won't have enough for buyback. So
I think if he buys back though, he's gonna die anyway since he won't have BKB. So I think this is fine. He needs to be able, like, it's just one fight. If
almost Hail Mary time anyway.
Yeah. If they lose one more fight, it's gonna be at Rax.
Okay.
So he needs everything that he can.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
They have so much stun lock, like
Butterfly's up.
Well, they need to be able to kill like 2 people, probably 3 during the BKB or shortly post BKB if they want to win this next fight. So we need some big requiems from him. We need some. If Clockwork hits a good hook shot, though, I don't really see how they can win the team fight. Maybe like really good defensive force staffs and disruptions, but disruptions haven't been saving anyone.
The problem is Witch Doctors just don't have a great front liner. It's important for this Shadow Fiend not to get caught. If he can be the counter initiator and use a big Requiem after an Epicenter is burned, after maybe a Dream Coil comes out, that could be huge. But if he's the target of choice that gets locked down, maybe the first to fall, that is going to be a one-way ticket to the Wild Witch Doctors having a bad time in this upcoming team fight. Nyx Assassin is actually pressuring this bottom tier 2 tower. He does have a TP scroll with him, so he can hop back to the base at a moment's notice. Glyph available for the Wild Witch Doctors as the push is inbound. Haste Rune also up on Puck. Might make this a little bit easier. The Glyph comes out straight away. Nyx Assassin still pressuring the bottom tier 2 tower.
They'll get this tower, I think. And they want to make use of the Aegis as a thing, so they're really trying to burn it in the next 35 seconds. So it means that they can't actually stop. They can bait out the Shadow Fiend. Like if they bait out like a Blink Puck initiate with the defensive disrupt into a BKB, I think they can win the fight. But It all depends on how the initiation goes. Nick Assassin almost out of mana, forces TP home. The Aegis is going to expire in like 15 seconds, so if they engage right now, he might die.
Oh, here we go. They hop in onto the Mirana. The hook shot's used. The disruption comes out, but it might not be enough. Mirana will leap just in the nick of time. Great reaction. XCOM will be the first to fall, following that of the Clockwork. It's only a 1-for-1 right now. Moonlight Shadow comes out. Snot with a big Requiem of Souls is now just BKB trying to survive. Epicenter comes in, but really doesn't do a hell of a lot of damage.
His Aegis is gone.
A 1-for-2. Oh no, the Aegis is expired. Now Richie is left with no retreat. Oh, what a disaster. They tried to force it just a little bit too hard. Sand King trying to escape, will get the blink cooldown he's looking for. Phase Boots may help him with this escape here. Positive earn charge. He will juke the Mirana. And Puck survives, but wow, a 1-for-3. And the tier 3 stays alive.
That was a nice defensive disrupt though on the Priestess of the Moon. And she was just able to leap out.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah. Great coordination between those two. I thought the disruption may not be enough, but
yeah, I think they should have forced it like maybe the way before. If they had an Aegis there, it would have been a lot better for them.
Yeah, and perhaps UG just weren't quite on point. They don't have that luxury of a timer popping up like we do right before that fight starts, but Aegis expired at pretty much the worst time possible. He needed another 5 seconds or so.
Yeah, if they knew that it was down, then they could play around it, but I'm not sure if they knew.
Yeah.
And now, wow, Witch Doctors, they're in a decent position now compared to what they were before.
Yeah, I mean, that put a decent dent in the experience graph, down from 14,000 to about 9,000 in the favor of Union Gaming, and the gold lead sitting pretty around 8K as well. Not too bad, still a rather large hill they have to climb. Still a lot of items in the favor of Union Gaming right now. Puck does have the Necrobook level 3 up and another 2,100 in the bank, so presumably we'll be pulling up for a Sheep Stick coming up next, but I was surprised to see him go straight for
8 HP. Go backdoor that IX Mike. Wow. Nick's Assassin has 3,600 gold.
What's he saving for? I guess
I don't even know how did he get that much gold?
Well, I guess farming down the bottom lane while that push was happening.
They got the gem back too, so yeah, the supports are looking in pretty good shape right now.
Yeah.
I guess he's going BKB. I mean, he's still sitting at 3,500. They need an item for this push though.
Yeah. They got the gem, but the supports on Witch Doctors are just so underleveled. They're both 11. The two supports on Union are both level 14. It's a pretty big gap between those supports, and still the itemization. Visage with an Ag Scepter and a mech, and yeah.
Wow, they're trying to push without the Aegis. This is ballsy.
Yeah. Look at Venomancer's items though. He's got a casual Sage's Mask and Boots of Speed. He has just nothing. Still, these supports
well,
are
he can just plop down the wards and delay the push for so long.
Of all the heroes that don't have any farm, I guess Venomancer is your ideal choice.
Yes.
So
this is why he is a 5.
That's why he is position 5. Very true, my friend. Clockwork very close to his Ag Scepter now. Does need just about 200 gold or so. Will continue farming around in the Dire jungle. Map control is still the way of the Radiant. They are clearing out the Dire jungle, and they actually don't have, pardon me, too many Observer wards down. Plenty of sentries. IX Mike down bottom. He is in big trouble. He's going to try to hide in the trees.
You need your BKB, bro.
Yeah, Puck is just going to hop straight in. We'll use the Dream Coil. Mike tries to pour it out. He gets interrupted. And, well, that's a little bit of a feed. Same trick. Not going to work twice here, Mike.
Space created?
Yeah.
They have the Visage Birds at the Roshan, though. If Union Gaming gets his next Roshan and they just push with a respectable Aegis timer, then they can take this Rax out. They have so many ways to siege the base, though. They have Puck with his Familiars. They can just beat on it with Rage. Or, sorry, Puck with his Necros. Lifestealer can just beat on it with Rage. Visage can beat on it with his Ags Familiars, too. And the towers should fall relatively easily, and then it's just a matter of time before they break the Rax, especially with the Aegis. But they first and foremost, they need that. It's going to respawn in about 30 seconds time, close to the maximum respawn.
Yeah. Just going to say, rather unlucky for Union Gaming.
Rather unlucky indeed. How do you feel about things like that? Like the specific
RNG
RNG aspects?
I have mixed feelings. Generally, I think a good rule of thumb is to limit the amount of RNG features, because you want it to be a skill-based game. You know, you don't want to see big losses just because somebody rolled the dice and, you know, rolled back-to-back 6s. But at the same time, it does add a sort of a special variety, and I think there are certain heroes that, I mean, Ogre Magi is a perfect example. Without RNG, he isn't really a hero. How do you make that hero work without RNG? And I like that I think it was a good change to move Roche to more of a random timer. Before, it was just a little too static. You know, you saw teams just camping around the pit. it forced fights, but I like that the variety. I think it raises the skill cap a little bit. Teams that can adjust to the variety versus teams that can't. And it seems like Union Gaming here, they saw Roche wasn't up, and they're like, you know what, let's just go for this tier 3. It could work for him, but this could also be a big blunder when they could just be securing Roche.
They got to tier 3 though.
And a long-range arrow connects on Angel as he's trying to pour it out. They'll hop out and pursue. Nick's
Lifesteal was not even close. This is a disaster. Could be a disaster.
They pull far out of the base. Shadow Fiend uses his BKB. A Requiem of Souls connects with very little. They secure the
Now
Sand
they can
King.
take Roshan though.
Yeah. Okay, I guess they can.
Well, actually, Sand King has a buyback, but he doesn't have his ultimate. That's pretty much the best thing that you could ask for.
For Wild Witch Doctors.
Yeah, for Wild Witch Doctors.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have gotten like the Puck or the Lifestealer or Clockwork, but I mean, Sand King's very important too. And now they're going to run into the Roche pit. Sand King should just buy out right now. They need to take this. They can't give it to them.
Yep, well, there's the buyback. There is the bottom tier 2 tower still standing with 8 hit points that he can port to get him there a little bit more quickly. Visage Familiars in the high ground. We'll scout this out. And Team Witch Doctors, they won't overcommit. They will happily back out of the Roche pit. Maybe not happily, but they will back out.
The thing is, if they lose the Roche fight right there, if they go into the pit and then UG takes an engagement and they lose the fight and they lose the Aegis, they lose the game right there. So they want to live to see another day. But at the same time, if Union Gaming gets the Aegis for free, I don't know if they're going to live to see another day.
Yep. Well, Union Gaming will move straight into the Roche pit, and actually Team WWD aren't in a great place to contest. Mirana is down bottom with IX Mike. They don't have a tower to port to, even if they wanted to. And they will start to converge about the pit from the bottom lane. Union Gaming are not killing it that quickly. Moonlight Shadow comes out. They're looking for a jump. I think they're going to go for an Aegis snatch here. IX Mike comes in. A big impale does connect. Shadow Fiend with the BKB on. Does not have a Requiem of Souls for another 15 seconds. They want this Lifestealer. They'll find him. He gets denied by Roshan, but he's dead nonetheless. Roche is very low, about 1,200 hit points left. IX Mike, the next target to fall. It's a 1-for-1. IX Mike buys back straight away. Dream Coil comes out. Onto the Venomancer as well as the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend in big trouble as he burrow strikes into the cogs, and down he goes. Now Roshan is fair game. Ush is still in the pit trying to make something happen. He's got a leap available. He will use it to the high ground, but the Visage Nuke will follow him up there. Roshan still alive. WWD walks in. IX Mike rejoining the fray. They do grab a kill on the Puck. Now, the Venomancer, he blows his
Where is
pulse,
Shadow
trying to
Fiend?
back
Shadow
out.
Fiend needs to buy back.
Oh, no. Does he actually have
Yes.
it? Lifestealer buys back. He does. WWD, he's tanking the Roche by himself. Now IX Mike moves into the pit.
What is this? This is familiar. It could kill him. What is he doing? Oh, my goodness. What in the world was that? Whew. Wow. That was one of the crazier Roche fights I've seen.
That was pretty chaotic. Buybacks burn, Lifestealer, the Sand King right before, and then the Nyx Assassin as well. Witch Doctors walk away with the Aegis as well as the Roshan kill. The Aegis did go into the inventory of Nyx Assassin. Wow. That is just wow. Shadow Fiend didn't even need to buy back, apparently.
What in the world? Well, that was just a really nice engagement by the Nyx Assassin. He went in, he impaled the Lifestealer while he was tanking Roshan, and Lifestealer actually died to Roshan because of that. I don't know if his rage was off cooldown, but still, you have to go in there. You have to take that risk. And yeah, Roshan might be at like 1 HP, or it might be at like 1,000, like it was, and then they just completely won the fight because IX Mike manned up.
Yeah. You know, I thought IG would have been able to kill Roche a little bit more quickly, but they've got no minus armor. They have a medallion on Visage, but that's it.
And Lifestealer doesn't have enough damage either.
Yeah.
He is still poor. 4, 5, and 10. He's number 5 on net worth. He's behind the Clockwork.
Wow. Yeah. I really thought they would have been able to drop Roche much more quickly, and the split from Wild Witch Doctors would kind of bite him in the ass a little bit. But, well, happy to admit that I was wrong there. That was quite the hold.
Yeah, and now, I mean, this is why you hold on, and
we've got a game on it. I mean, it's only a 4,000 gold lead now, 6,000 experience. That gap has been cut in half.
Yeah, first the bad push with the Aegis, and then secondly, just they could have snuck in the Roche instead of pushing the T3. I think they could have done that pretty safely.
And then that threw away the Clockwork, forced the Clockwork by this, well, no, Sand King lived, but Sand King died. Yeah, Clockwork was the one that got.
He also wasted his epi though. I think that was a big deal too.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, what a sequence of events. If Lifestealer didn't port out too, they could have just fought, but he just wanted that farm too.
Yeah, I think they would have been better off just cutting their losses and having the I don't think Sand King needed to go in there because Clockwork survived. He scooted up to the high ground and. Really no reason to epi there. I mean, Shadow Fiend had his BKB on.
They don't have good catch on Wild Witch Doctors. They don't have any blink heroes. Nick Sesson still doesn't have a blink. And they don't have any long-range initiation, not like a blink coil from Puck, not like a hook shot from Clockwork either. So they don't really have a way to catch them if Union Gaming decides to disengage, but they just chose to engage at that particular instance. And now Shadow Fiend, he's going to have a, Daedalus maybe, MKB? I think he knows that Lifesteal is going to go for a Halberd or SNY, so it depends.
Yeah. We'll see where he wants to go. Marana does have a Demon Edge as well, whether she wants a Daedalus or the MKB, still yet to be known. IX Mike did go ahead and right-click his BKB. He's the one carrying the Aegis right now, and he's got another 2100
They have a
gold in the
gem.
bank.
They're hot on his tail. If they blink, he's going to die. Where's the blink?
Forward.
The Sanking's so scared. Why you have it infest?
Wow.
That would have been the Aegis. That would have been his death
Aegis
and
a kill.
Right.
What? Wow. What were they so afraid of?
I have
they
no
saw,
idea.
I guess there wasn't a lot of vision. If you look at the Radiant coverage, Wild Witch Doctors were grouped up in their jungle. They didn't know where they were, but...
This is why Sanking's not a good hero, because people don't know how to play him.
Because people don't like to man up. I mean, that was
Yeah, you got to
one of
man up. Like, IX Mike, he just ran into the Roshan pit. No vision. He's like, whatever, I'm going in. We need this. And you just need to capitalize on that moments, man.
Yeah.
The whole fight started because of it. And it might seem like a small thing, but the way fights initiate is really, really important. And he just chose to like, hey, I'm just going to go in there.
Yeah, it sets the tone. If you go in aggressive and the other team gets on the back foot, even if they have the damage, sometimes just that kind of intimidation tactic can put a team that would otherwise win into a more defensive route. One of them backs up and the others are fighting, and that's all you need.
You take them out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good
Familiars were used to, they stun so they could get more physical damage to try and burst Roshan, so they didn't have that. And like Sanking's like not in position either, so they, I don't know, they're just dropping the pooch here.
Yeah, garage, dropping the pooch.
Yeah.
Dropping the ball and screwing the pooch. They're combining the two now, and they're throwing pooches out windows.
Yeah,
Just,
pretty much.
I'm so mad. My pooch, it fell out the window. Sorry.
Well, Union
isn't
Gaming,
really
they're
even
up
game,
by,
though.
they have twice the kills, and they still can't close out the game. They haven't gotten one Rax yet.
Yeah.
And their late game isn't that great. It would be if Lifestealer were on top of net worth, but he's sitting at 2/3 of Shadow Fiend.
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
at 12K. Shadow Fiend's at 18. That's
Yeah.
a big gap.
And Shadow Fiend, we haven't seen that much of this game, but he's still farming away.
Yeah,
He's been good about his gold management.
He's almost ready to come online. That's for sure.
He is online. He's been online.
He's online.
He dies, but he still does a lot of damage in a team fight. So, like
Yeah.
Lifestealer, like last fight, what did he do? He killed Roshan. He tried to kill Roshan. He died. He bought back and didn't do any damage during the whole entire fight. Like, when Shadow Fiend dies, at least he gets off his Requiem most of the time. He's able to right-click a couple things down, sometimes just a couple familiars, but that still counts when Visage has his Ags.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and Shadow Fiend doesn't now have his Helm of the Dominator up, so he's got some sustain, at least some lifesteal, and he is pretty quickly getting out of control. Wild Witch Doctors have closed this gap. It's not only about a 2,000 gold lead, 2,000 experience lead. Momentum has completely shifted, and Union Gaming are in trouble.
they're like, crap, did we just throw away this game?
I'm not sure. Like, I was about to say that, maybe they could hold out, wait for the next Roche, get Cheese and Aegis, but
That's so long.
it's too long. That's another 9 minutes away or so. I mean...
Yeah. Then you're talking about like one big item on Potom, like maybe like a Desolator or a Butterfly herself.
That's not happening. They can't wait for that. They need to make a play.
They also needed a Hex because it's very difficult to gank these BKB heroes without a Hex.
That Puck, he's got the ultimate orb. He's got 2.8k in the bank, so he is.
Okay, he's gonna get it pretty.
He's
soon.
reasonably close to that sheep stick, but
they also have this defensive disrupt and forceps though. I forgot.
I would almost label that level 3 Necro book a little bit of a misplay from the Puck, though. I'm not so sure.
I don't think they needed it.
Yeah, like Blink into level 3 Necro book. I don't
Blink
know.
Sheep is so potent with a Life Stealer Bomb because you can kill any BKB hero, most BKB heroes. Like Shadow Fiend only has 1700 HP. Blink, Coil, Hex, Infest, Waning Rift, Illusory Orb, right click with Rage, you're dead.
That should be a kill.
You should, even if he doesn't like die in the stun lock, he's gonna have like 300 HP. He can't BKB TP with that low amount of life. So if they can just get that and then they can limit everyone else's farm because of that, like okay, no one wants to split push because they're just scared of a Pug gang, and then Lynx can just farm the jungle, farm Ancients, farm somewhere out of sight, so they're still scared of it. But they weren't able to do that. They just tried to brute force with the Necro, and the siege was way too slow. They took like 1.5 minutes. The Aegis expired, and like it's like a. If you get Necro, you push and win.
Yeah.
and execute, but they didn't do that. Or if you
Right.
want to play the farming game, you get a sheep so you can gank and get map control that way. And they're just, it's just
Sort
not
of
coinciding.
combining the two strategies and not getting the best of
the
both
half-ass-
worlds. Yeah,
the
the
half-ass
half-ass.
strat.
Get the Necro book just to show it off, just to have some reading material.
I
in the
mean,
big
it's not
game.
bad versus Nyx Assassin, but how big of a problem was Nyx Assassin in the first 30 minutes of the game?
Right, and that's what I was just about to say. Maybe he just wanted some detection to try and deal with Nyx, but they've
You
been
just get a gem.
so spot on. Exactly, but they've been so spot on with their sentries. They bought
Yeah,
so many
I
sentries
know.
this game. So it almost seems like overkill.
It
You
is
either
overkill.
Go sentries or Necro book. You don't have to do both. And I mean, again, Priestess of the Moon. She's got her ultimate. You know, thinking a little bit of.
That's what you have to have a gem though. You're not
yeah.
gonna preemptively pop a Necro book. You don't
Right.
want to waste a cooldown.
Right. An on-call gem with the Necro book. I can see the thought process, but I just don't think it was a worthy investment. I mean, Necro book level 3. That's pricey. It's expensive.
It's almost a sheep.
Almost
Is it a
a
sheep? Let's see, 21 plus
Good question.
21 plus 35. No, she was like 56.75.
Yeah.
And
Necro book
Necro's
is
5,200, I think.
52. So, but it's close. So he could undoubtedly have a sheep stick now and be working towards whatever his next item would be.
Like a Shiva's would be really good for them.
Yeah.
Or anything but a Necro book.
anything.
I think if the supports want a Necro book, that's fine. If they have extra gold. But like, I think Sand King could also use a Veil. But yeah, they're lacking damage. That's the biggest. I think that's very big point. As we saw with the Roshan, they couldn't kill Roshan, and I mean that Roshan buff from the last patch. It's hard to see how big of an effect that was, but without that Roshan buff, that wouldn't have happened either. So
Yeah.
I mean, I like these changes.
Yeah. It's things are getting interesting here, and also Sand King with his kind of funky build. I'm still waiting to see what that vitality booster is going to turn into.
I don't know.
He's got some strange item choices here.
Yeah. If he had a sheep too, like
Just imagine.
I know.
That would be crazy. But here we go. The big items are now up for Wild Witch
Look
Doctors.
at his damage. Do you see the Shadow Fiend's damage? He's sitting at like 360.
Wow, he is a meat stick right now. Daedalus, Butterfly, Black King Bar, and Helm of the Dominator. He's ready to dominate some heroes on the side of Union Gaming.
Yeah, Lifestealer, he's been sitting with this Ogre Club for forever now, and I guess he's trying to get an Abyssal, but if he gets an Abyssal, he doesn't have buyback.
Yeah.
So he's not in a good position, and Shadow Fiend doesn't have Manta either, so that makes it much easier for him to get Abyssal. But at the same time, he has Butterfly, and that's going to be pretty difficult to break through, especially considering he has 20 armor to boot.
Yeah, he is pretty tanky. And even Mirana has now grabbed her next big item. The MKB is out following that Manta style, so her right clicks are starting to add up as well. She's
I'm
hitting
surprised
for
she didn't
about
get Daedalus.
250. Yeah, I guess they're looking for something to cover them in case they go for an evasion item, in case the Halberd actually comes out.
I still think they have enough right click without though. Like just Shadow Fiend and pot him with both with Daedalus, he would get wrecked.
Yeah, that's true. Well, two big items have come out on the side of Union. The Sheepstick on Puck that we were talking about, and that Abyssal Blade that you just mentioned has been picked, but no buyback available for Puck or Lifestealer, not anytime soon. Aegis will be expiring in less than a minute, and hopefully Union Gaming don't jump the gun here. They will smoke into a 5-man brigade, but if they're just a little more patient, they can go up against 5 heroes instead of 6.
Wild Witch Doctors is playing really smart right now. They know that something's funky is going on because none of them are on the map except for Angel right now. So they're like huddled close. If they go on Nyx Assassin, he has Aegis. They can get to him before he dies. Before he dies twice, rather. And the other two are close together. Shadow Demon is close to Sna, so that in case he gets initiated upon, he can always pop his BKB after the defensive disrupt.
Yeah, they did handle that well. The smoke has since expired. Aegis reclaimed.
Are they going to be greedy, though? Are they going to be greedy? If he farmed his wife, they would be so dead.
Oh.
No, they know. They know that they're like in this general area, though.
Yeah.
Or like this area.
They are suspicious.
Yep, Sna is a little bit out of base. He might get initiated on over here, but Shadow Demon is sitting right behind him just in case something funky is going on. And, I mean, Lifestealer has not been farming for some time. If he dies right now, I think the game might be over because he doesn't have buyback, and Roshan's going to respawn pretty soon, too.
IX Mike as well as Ush.
They have
down
to back.
bottom.
They have to back. He can just send Manta Illusions, and they're going to have to do something about it.
Yeah, right now Union Gaming are caught in
Radiant's
this
bottom tower is
unfortunate
under
pickle.
attack.
of
They've been out.
indecision.
They've been off the map
Dire's
for
top
how
tower
long
is
now?
under
Okay, there they
Oh,
go.
there's the initiation. Burrow strike in onto the Shadow Fiend. The Sheep to follow up. Illusory Orb. Moonlight Shadow comes straight away. There's that defensive disruption. IX Mike is now joining the battle. He'll pop his BKB as the hook shot comes in. Requiem of Souls goes off. Does a fair bit of damage to Union Gaming. Lifestealer and Trumbull. He'll be the first to fall. Epicenter around the backside, but it does little to no damage. What a disaster for Union Gaming. They'll get repelled. They don't do any damage to the structures. and they lost their Lifestealer, who is now stuck without buyback.
Defensive disrupt to save the day right there. This is why Shadow Demon is such a good hero.
Yeah.
He saves your booty. He got abyssaled. There's no problem in your BKB and surviving if you don't get disrupted right there.
Yeah, that really did turn that fight around. It allowed Shadow Fiend the time he needed, and he got a pretty big Requiem of Souls off. That did a fair bit of damage. And I don't know what happened to the Sand King, but he ended up kind of caught where he epicentered and then was stuck like on the high ground corner here.
I have no idea. That should have been really easy because he popped his BKB so early on in the fight, and the team while Witch Doctors wanted defensive. Now Roshan is going to respawn. Let's check it out. We should see the timer in just about 10 seconds time. Now Goldgraph is almost back at 0, but while Witch Doctor has much better late game because Lifestealer is number 5 still on net worth, and we see Shadow Fiend and Potom huge on that chart.
Yep.
Boom, there it goes.
Oh boy. Angel has now picked up a Blink Dagger on Clockwork. Any thoughts about that?
That's what I think of it. Poopy.
Poopy.
He needs, I don't know.
I mean, what's the point?
I'm not sure. Blink Cog,
Rock it on.
OP. I mean, he already has 12-second cooldown hook shots.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, once you have the Ags, you're not really having...
And he has Force. Does he need more mobility?
I think the Ghost Scepter makes some sense here so that he can hop in and then not just die to the crits of the Shadow Fiend, but I'm really having trouble wrapping my head around the usefulness of a...
I'm not sure either,
here.
but I mean, he was playing really well in the early game. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he knows how to play Clockwork. I'm just not really sure why he got it either. It's not like he's like, oh man, that guy just got away because I didn't have a Blink Dagger. That has not happened yet this game.
Right, and it's not like you can really... I mean, I guess you could hook shot in Cogs and then blink back to safety if you wanted to.
That's why you usually use Force Staff for that, though.
Yeah, and Force Staff is easier because you don't have to worry about getting hit and having it interrupted. It's not too often you get to hook shot in and then you don't take any damage and can just blink out, unless we're talking about like a solo gank where they're still stunned from the hook shot duration.
Is under attack.
Interesting choices. We'll see how it works out for him.
They've been so good at dodging the infest ganks, though. Like, how long has this Lifestealer been sitting inside Puck in the last 5 minutes? Probably like over 50% of the time.
Yeah, they was looking for an opening. I mean, they recognize that they just need to pick one person off without buyback.
They're forcing the issue way too much.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do have the tier 3 down in the mid lane, so a misstep could cost Wild Witch Doctors their lane of racks, and I think that's what they're trying to capitalize on, but yeah, it can very quickly backfire. Still, IX, Mike, and Ush are pressuring this bottom lane.
This is exposed. When did that tower fall? They're just going to beat on it.
Whoa, yeah.
Oh, later, Ush.
They come back. Ush is in some trouble as the Infest Bomb comes.
Or is he?
Wow.
Where was the Necro Book? If he Necro Booked him during a Hex, I think he would have been dead too.
Wow. Whoa, there we go. Angel comes in with a hook shot. He will catch the
Oh, okay. Well, there's the blink.
So, all right, the blink comes in handy right there, but it shouldn't have needed to. Richie had sort of an odd play right there where the Impale came right here. It caught his friend Puck, but he was raged and just couldn't really decide which way he wanted to go, if he wanted to commit or run back to the base.
Boom,
And I think if he had just gone balls to the wall, pedal to the metal, it would have been a little bit less of an issue. But yeah, it seems Union Gaming, and now that they've lost their momentum, it's sort of, maybe they're getting a little bit tilted here. They seem to be very, they're lacking some confidence in their decision making. A lot of stutter
definitely
stepping
are.
about
But
the map.
look, Angel, he gets a blink hook. But doesn't really amount to that much. 4 staffs come to save the day. Pot him still down for 30 seconds, but I think this Shadow Fiend is big enough so that he can just stand up in front and, hey, initiate on me. I will just get defensively disrupted and turn around and crush you like last fight. I think that's what they were going for.
And Potom does have a buyback, just in case this goes awry. If they get into a sticky wicket, well, Priestess of the Moon does have that buffer. Glyph gets popped, hook shot in, and he blinks back, so there you go, showing us what it's all about. They do catch the Shadow Demon, so defensive disruptions won't happen. They force the Glyph, but very little damage actually comes out onto the structures. Potom yet to buy back. Shadow Poison coming out of the base.
These poor familiars.
I'm not sure if UG can do this, but Roche is
not
coming
with
up.
Potom back up.
Actually, Roche is up, and Angel hops back in. Whoa, a big Dream Coil from the Puck. Will the follow-up damage be there, though? In comes the Sand King, right into a Requiem of Souls. That will cost the Scorpion his life. But Sna not out of the clear yet. He's taking a lot of damage. IX Mike pops in with an Impale. Off the mark. The Shadow Fiend falls, but as does the Lifesteal. Puck also gets picked off in the fray. It's not looking good for Union. Down goes the Visage. Angel's the only one left alive, and he's got no mana, nowhere to go. That
And
will
that's a 5-man wipe. That's gonna be Roshan after. That's gonna be an Aegis and a cheese. This game is very close to being finished. Yeah, sure, gold might be at 2,000 in favor of Wild Witch Doctors, but Union Gaming, they're just all out of steam right now. They've tried everything that they could. They bought an Abyssal. They bought a side device. They tried to gank. They tried to push with Necros. They tried to do Roshan. All of those tactics have failed.
Yeah, and they're at the point now where this Mirana has really come online. They did a good job focusing down the Shadow Fiend, but that entire time...
Scotty.
Yeah, Mirana was just laying in the right click. She walked away with an ultra kill from that fight. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
They really wanted to kill the Shadow Fiend. They used everything on him. I think that's the right play, though, to try and kill the Shadow Fiend, especially when he pops BKB. They used Abyssal on him. They tried to chase him down with Visage Familiars and Medallion and all this physical damage, but he died at the T4. They had to overextend and kill it. He still got his Requiem off, and you have Potom wailing on you most of the time, too.
Yeah, and like you said, she picked up a Scotty. Now that Roche has fallen, she'll have an Aegis of the Immortal. And the graph is, well, both experience and gold in favor of Wild Witch Doctors. Looking at this mountain of a graph, I think we could call this a game of throws here, Merlini.
I'm going to have to arrest them for intentional
Arrest them for this game of throws.
This is... It wasn't intentional. It was just...
No, definitely, yeah.
They were outclassed by Wild Witch Doctors in a couple of the holds. Like the Roshan pit. Okay, that was just very nicely executed by IX Mike and the rest of them, and just being able to dodge all these smoke ganks too and infest ganks. They like sense it coming without that much vision because they have a gem, and they were just able to farm up still and dodge the ganks too. It's one thing to dodge the ganks, but to farm and dodge the ganks, that's something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they will continue to pressure this bottom lane, and now we see Union Gaming on the back foot. They're just turtled up in their base. They've lost map control. They've got 2 wards down, one on their plateau here that they just put down and one outside their Ancients. So they have a little bit of vision about the map, but they are just so nervous. They know that they've, even though it's 40 to 25, they do not have the experience in Gold Edge.
You know what I think is we haven't seen yet? A big epicenter. They only have one hero with the BKB, or they had one hero with the BKB for a long time, which was Shadow Fiend. Oh, looks like somebody's going to get caught out.
Yeah, that will be the Venomancer. They get the gem back. Yeah. So that's
and then Nyx Assassin didn't have BKB for quite some time, but where's the big epicenters? Like, they could have had some, like, massive epicenters on a lot of supports. Like, on Potom, she's almost going to die just from that because she just had drums for HP before then. Like, Puck can follow up with a Silence and a Coil, and they are just going to be goners. But where are the epis?
Yeah. It's a good question that I don't have a good answer to. I mean, he's gotten a couple of them off, but usually it's only done a little bit of damage kind of on the side. He hasn't had one of those epic blank into the middle of the battle and just do
I mean, that's something
damage.
that I'm missing.
They need it. Yeah, they need it.
Sand King's an aggressive hero. Oh, he's going to get arrowed, and he's going to die.
He's in some trouble. Ush comes forward. Oh, boy. Oh, the hook shot in from Angel. He will connect. And Sand King still alive for now, but does fall to the poison of Shadow Demon. Disruption comes out onto Clockwork, and now stuck in an ensnare. Compliments that Helm of the Dominator. They've got just a random Dark Troll Summoner there.
It's for the Lifestealer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow, that's a good call. Using that Helm of the Dominator. Every penny counts, right?
Yep.
Moonlight Shadow comes out. Now there could be a wraparound. Puck with the surprise inside. Already used his Necro Book. He's trying to scout it out, but unfortunately he's just in the wrong place for that Necro Book to actually do any kind of revealing.
These familiars are all gone too. Like. Oh, here they go.
Oh, Puck goes straight in. The Infest Bomb. BKB popped by Shadow Fiend. The Abyssal Blade comes out. They're trying to finish him off. It's already cost him their Puck. He got his ultimate off at least, but now Snock can just turn around. He's still alive. And, oh, there's the mech to tip him off, pick him up even more. Angel still trying to pursue. Look how deep they're trying to commit on that Shadow Fiend. They finally finish him, but it will cost them their Life Stealer. Angel, as well as the Visage here, still alive. They grab a kill on the Shadow
There's
Demon.
The big heavy.
Whoa, Epicenter comes in, does a fair bit of damage. Can Sand King do the cleanup? No, just too little, too late. Puck is back in the action now secures a kill on the Venomancer. Nyx Assassin grabs a kill on the Sand King. This is so back and forth. IX Mike now gets picked off. Puck bought back in this fight, the Visage and the Sand King. So even though the Wild Witch Doctors do get cleaned up, in the end, it did not come for free.
Yeah, and let's see. So who all bought back that fight? We saw Puck, Visage, and Sand King. So
3 big.
So it was a 5 for 4, and they got the Aegis. So 5 for 5. I guess all in all, it's even. And they got the Chief.
Yeah, not bad. So an even exchange.
Wow, he has 2 BKBs. Shadow Fiend has 2 BKBs.
Yep.
Why?
He bought a second one.
I think he needs Manta.
The first one's down to 4 seconds. He wants that 10-second cooldown, man.
You need Manta Man versus the Basher.
Manta man.
Manta Man.
Yeah. And not too often you see this this build where you go for a second BKB. Last time I saw this, I think was I was casting Asian Dota. It was a Chinese match.
Yeah, I do not like that.
Yeah.
It's okay, like super late game when you're 6-level, but he's not 6-level yet. He could get a Satanic for another life.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Sitting on just a Helm of the Dominator, I think Satanic is a little bit more of an obvious choice. Glyph pops straight away, though. Moonlight Shadow used by the Wild Witch Doctors. Both Shadow Fiend and Nyx Assassin are still alive. The Dream Coil comes out for a solo Shadow Demon kill, but they do secure it. Now Venomancer, the next target of choice. They're doing a fair bit of damage. But Venomancer's made some recovery. He's got a Force Staff as well as an Ag Scepter, so he's not the easiest target to take down. Both racks at about half health. UG, can they get racks right here? No, Shadow Demon will buy back. Still a 5v4 on the field, but they don't have all 5 up here at the base with them.
Ush is still sitting on a massive pile of gold with 5,000. Almost has his butterfly in. These wrecks are hurt, but the melee. Oh, Ush gets caught out.
And Dream Coil, or pardon me, Illusory Orb. Puck hops forward. Now Richie comes in. Force Staff used on the Mirana Illusion, but now Snod is going to start adding up the right clicks. Richie taking a lot of damage. Everyone on the defensive now. Another big epicenter. This will catch all 5 heroes. It'll cost Sand King his life, but he does one hell of a lot of damage. Unfortunately, the follow-up just isn't there, and it was all in vain. Visage has already gone down. Puck's in big trouble. Phase shift. Blink is on cooldown, and nowhere to go. Now Angel comes with a hook shot, finishes off the Shadow Demon. That's a dieback for the Shadow Demon. Will show off that fancy Blink dagger as he hops out of the cogs, and he survives it. This is ridiculous. These exchanges are so chaotic.
Oh, IX Mike.
Oh, IX Mike connects with the Impale. Angel, you're in some trouble, my friend. Force Staff down. IX Mike, Force Staff into the cogs. Whoa, but Angel does take a Carapace. Another mana burn, but unfortunately he's already out of mana.
GG, no mana blink, though.
Yeah. This game is ridiculous. I mean,
it is ridiculous.
Wild Witch Doctors, though. I mean,
this poor Lifestealer, he can't do anything. He abyssal the bottom as she was leaping.
Oh.
Okay, so the Hex comes out, he gets disrupted, and then the Abyssal, as she leapt, and after that, he's like, well, there goes my rage, I'm dead.
Yeah. This is just very back and forth with the Wild Witch Doctors. I think.
Oh, he does have a Satanic.
Maybe I will secure the. Seal the deal. Oh, when did he get that? He must have just picked it up after that fight.
He's holding 2 BKBs, too. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
Like, most of them, you swap it out, but he's holding them for the stats. Got to get that 24 damage.
Yeah. So Puck is stuck without a buyback here, as is the Visage. That will be the end of their Tier 3 tower mid. The Glyph has already been popped, and this should be a lane of racks, I think. Sand King comes in, as does the Clockwork. Infest Bomb. Mirana seems to be the target of choice for now, but now Richie left all alone. He's got rage. He's stuck inside of his own cogs. Oh, Richie.
That was kind of a cool play. Did you see what the Clockwork did there?
Other than trap his
no, he infested inside the clock, and then he went in, and he tried to, like, after the stun from the Abyssal was up, he tried to force him, so he got cog pushback so they could damage him even more.
Oh.
That was kind of cool, but it wasn't enough.
A crafty play. Clockwork does fall. He'll buy back straight away. The mid lane of racks have already gone down. The mech will get popped for a little bit of extra pick-me-up. Now in comes Puck, a decent waning rift. Dream Coil connects, and Shadow Fiend gets sheeped, but they just don't have
That is over.
Puck
It
is
is over.
Annihilated. Yeah.
As soon as they kill Puck, they know that they've won the game.
Yeah.
Well, good job, Wild Witch Doctors. They hung in there. Like, what in the world? How?
That gold graph, 10,000 in favor of UG, now 15,000 in their favor here at the 60-minute mark. A pretty lengthy game as well. The Wild Witch Doctors squeak out a win. They avoid elimination. Unfortunately for Union Gaming, though, they will walk away empty-handed.
Wow, what a game. I was like, man, this game's going to end in 25-30, and then, boom, T3 failed push, Aegis gone, and everything just goes downhill from there. What a disaster.
Yeah, it really was. And
I still think Clockwork's the MVP, even though they lost. Like, he played fantastically all game. And there's only so much he can do with the Clockwork, though. They called GG.
Yeah, they called GG, but they didn't actually tap out. There the disconnect.
Wow, this Puck says GG well played, Nate. So he is bad-mannering his own teammates.
Whoa,
I would say that
salt.
I would say that Nakes did have I mean, like, what were the bad decisions that Nake's made, though? Like, what really did he do that was really bad? Besides the one TP back where his team got caught out.
Right. That was where the Sand King got picked off, and that's
Right.
what led to that second Roche. And that was really the beginning of the turning of the tides. But I agree. I mean, Lifestealer, he didn't have an easy time. They had Venomancer with Gale to slow him down. They had Mirana, who's pretty elusive.
Defensive disrupts.
Yeah,
BKB,
defensive disrupts. They had a lot of tools to deal with the Lifestealer.
demonic purge.
Yeah,
I don't think the game's on Lifestealer.
I don't think so either.
I think his item build was fine.
Mhm.
I think it was really just a big macro decisions, like
Yeah.
pushing without the Aegis or with the Aegis about to expire. Okay,
Yeah.
that was a big one.
That was the first big misstep. They pushed into the base with 30 seconds left on the Aegis, and Nakes died with like maybe 5 seconds after it expired.
Mhm.
That was the beginning of the disheveling for you.
And they didn't really make that good use of Infest Kings because they didn't have a sheep. So
Yeah, that was I would almost blame that Necro Book level 3 after Blink.
yeah,
That was
it's all like macro decisions though. It's like not that
questionable.
much execution in team fights because
Yeah.
execution in team fights was about what you expect, but the decision making from Union Gaming was definitely lacking.
Yeah, Wild Witch.
They should have won
Doctors
that game for sure.
Showing us what they're all about. It was their game to throw. They had the lead. They had Wild Witch Doctors turtled up in their base, but wow, what a game one. That was only our first game today, though. We only have 2 best of ones, elimination on the line. Not a bad way to get things started. Coming up next, Merlini, we have...
Oh, I thought this was best 3. Oh yeah,
No,
Union
it's
Gaming's
best of
out.
1. Yeah, Union Gaming's out. That's it.
Wow.
See you later. Zip them up.
That was man. If I'm Wild Witch Doctors, I'm like my heart would be pounding.
You be hurting a little bit. That's when your keyboard takes the Dura hit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well then.
So PSST versus Dignotoss will be our second best of 1 today. That lobby is already up. We'll hop right into it, guys. So don't go anywhere. Plenty more Starladder America qualifier coverage coming your way. I'm Zyori. Over here is Officer Merlini. Make sure you follow this
got
guy
it
on
right.
Twitter at Merlini Dota. Props for you're one up in gods here. Props for the coming through cosplaying.
I know.
it.
I promised it like less than a month ago, and I
yeah.
deliver. Where's Gods? He promised. What month was this?
I
Post
don't
TI3,
know.
so August. He is 7 months late.
7 months late.
7
Don't-
months late, buddy. We're all watching you, Gods.
We've got some plans. We've got some. We'll
I
whip,
know.
we'll whip
I
him
have
into shape.
I have the handcuffs ready.
Yeah. We'll go House
You
of
go
Cards on
one
him.
more month without it. This house is going to be your jail.
Whoa! Watch
Oh.
out, Officer Merlini on
Okay.
patrol. All right, guys, we got another game coming up. We'll be back after this short break.